Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's show. Welcome to Advocate Information Highway. I'm your host, Anthony Lorito-Duke. And we have a very interesting and very important topic for today's show. But before I get into that, I want to say congratulations to all the Democratic voters out there throughout the United States that really showed up. They really showed up on November 4th at the polls, and they did a fantastic job. You guys did a great job showing up at the polls on November 4th, because many people are saying, oh, it's going to be a blue wave, a blue wave. It was not a blue wave, ladies and gentlemen. It was a blue tsunami. It was a blue tsunami. And Democrats have won throughout the United States on November 4th. I want to say congratulations to all the elected officials that won on November 4th. Congratulations. And um, so it was amazing to see how many Democrats won throughout the United States on November 4th. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it showed the Republicans. It showed the Republicans what's going to happen come next year in 2026 during the midterm elections. So it was a sign. But now let's get into today's show's topics. Um, I want to discuss about the ACA subsidies and reopening up the government. You know, it, going back to this quote unquote one big beautiful bill that the Republicans passed. Okay, there was a lot of good things in there. I'll admit to that. But here's the thing. It was important what was about not inside there. The thing that was not inside there. The Republicans did not put anything about the ACA subsidies into that one big beautiful bill. The Democrats were fighting so hard to get laws into that one big beautiful bill about the ACA subsidies. That's what the Democrats really wanted. That's what the Democrats really wanted. And the Republicans said no. The Republicans said no. And that is why the Democrats were against this one big beautiful bill thing. And hence that's why um we're in this government shutdown. And Republicans are trying to bully the Democrats and saying, well, if you don't give us what we want in this, give us this one big beautiful bill and take away people's health care coverages, then we're going to take away everyone's food stamps. And that's why Trump turned around and said, nope, month of November, no food stamps for anybody. So it was Trump that did that. It was the Republicans that did that, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrats did not take away anyone's food stamps. Seriously. Even in prior government shutdowns, ladies and gentlemen, when there was Democratic presidents, no Democratic president ever took away anybody's SNAP benefits if there was a government shutdown. Okay? This is the first time ever. And it was the Republicans that took that away. Okay? So now, um, will the government reopen eventually? Yeah. Yeah. Will SNAP benefits return back? Yes. Yes, it will. And eventually, yes. They will. The government will end up reopening and SNAP benefits will return back, yes. But here's the thing. Republican US House Speaker Johnson said in regards to the ACA subsidies, oh, people could just deal with it. That's one of the things that he said. Then he also turned around and said to the Democrats, well, we could just create that bill in another bill. No, no, because every time when it came to being at the table to deal with the ACA subsidies, Republicans never showed up. The Republicans wanted to take away people's healthcare coverages. Republicans have said time and time again that illegal immigrants are being on the ACA. False. That's false, false, false. It is federal law that stipulates no illegal immigrants are allowed to be on the ACA. They're not allowed to collect these benefits. Seriously, it's federal law that prohibits illegal immigrants from being on the ACA. So Republicans went around spreading lies, shocker, ooh, and saying, "Oh, they're saying that Democrats are just giving ACA to the illegal immigrants." That is a false statement that the Republicans are spreading. Seriously, enough is enough, ladies and gentlemen. Enough is enough. Honestly. So now it's just a matter of time before the government reopens. And, like I said, November 4th, it was a blue tsunami. And that was a sign to the Republicans of what's going to come next year in the 2026 midterm elections. It's coming. So now, Republicans have also believed that the ACA was just for Democrats in Democrat cities and states. Wrong. That's also false. There's a lot of Republican American people in many Republican cities and states that depend upon the ACA. Okay. So these healthcare subsidies are a big thing. It's very important. Now, the ACA open enrollment already began on November 4th, and the prices have skyrocketed, and people cannot afford the healthcare coverages. And I'm not just talking about American people in Democratic cities and states. I'm talking about American people in Republican cities and states as well. Because these Republicans thought that, oh, it's just Democratic people in Democratic cities and states that are on the ACA. Wrong, wrong. So now Republicans are realizing it. So it's just a matter of putting the differences aside and say, hey, let's get our brains out from where the sun don't shine. Let's stop being stupid for once in our pathetic lives. Let's get together and create something that's going to be magnificent for everybody in regards to the ACA subsidies. Here's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen. Also, what was supposed to expire by the end of this year were the tax exemptions for the filthy rich. Now, when the Republicans took control of Congress in the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate, and of course the White House, Republicans gathered together real fast, like supersonic fast, passed a bill that gives permanent tax exemptions for the filthy, disgusting rich. They did that supersonic fast, these Republicans, but they wanted to drag their feet in protecting the ACA subsidies for the hardworking American people that are in both Democratic and Republican cities and states. Seriously. So Republicans could have easily have just reopened up the government by getting rid of the filibuster, but they're not doing that. Okay. Republicans could have said, listen, we gave permanent tax exemptions to the filthy, disgusting rich. Let's help the hardworking American people in both Democratic and Republican cities and states by giving permanent uh, ACA subsidies. Make that permanent. Seriously, be fair to everybody. But the Republicans did not do that, ladies and gentlemen. Republicans have turned around and try to bully the Democrats and say, "Hey, you got to agree to our Article One big beautiful bill, and just uh, so we could take away everybody's health care coverages. And if you don't agree to our ways, then we're going to take away everyone's food stamps." And again, that's what Trump did. That's what the Republicans did, ladies and gentlemen, not the Democrats. So, and Republicans have said, oh, we met 14 times and the Democrats get turned down our proposals 14 times. And there's nothing in that one big, beautiful bill that's in regards to the ACA subsidies, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing in there. And the Republicans gave permanent tax exemptions to the filthy rich, but they're giving nothing to the hardworking American people in both Democratic and Republican cities and states. So, moderate Democrats could just turn around and say, hey, we're just going to sign that Republican bill and let's get the government reopened. It could happen. And the other option is there's Democrats and Republicans that are moderates and stuff that are say, hey, um, let's create a bill for that we can both agree upon and stuff like that, and just because both sides are realizing, both sides of the aisle are realizing, both major political parties are realizing that come the end of November, the beginning of December, if the government is not reopened, it's going to affect both major political parties come next year in the midterm elections. It's going to affect both. So it's about putting differences aside and just agreeing on something so the government can reopen and then everybody wins. Seriously, honestly. And that's what needs to happen. The government needs to reopen. Put differences aside and let's just get the government reopened. Honestly. And so, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind all my fans out there about my website, Advocate Information Highway. The link to there is AIHNY.com. Again, that's AIHNY.com. And you guys can check out all the pages on there. And so, with that, take care, everybody. Bye.